Japan, the late 90s. Following one of the greatest economic decades in the country's history, a decade filled with prosperity for not just people, but all industries alike, a bubble had seemingly grown in the background, and the economy began to suffer. This bubble would eventually pop. Though many industries struggled, there was one industry that saw a dramatic climb in popularity: the anime industry. Akira, Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, these are only a small fraction of some of the shows that had completely changed anime as a whole and sparked a massive tsunami of popularity that had begun to reach every corner of the world. And with it, a new form of animation: CGI. Works like Akira and Princess Mononoke helped set in motion this new CGI style of animation. Others, like Ghost in the Shell, used CGI sparingly but effectively to accentuate specific scenes. It primarily employed CGI for intricate backgrounds, futuristic cityscapes, and fluid motion sequences, seamlessly blending them with traditional hand-drawn animation. This integration of CGI contributed to the film's immersive and visually stunning portrayal of a dystopian future, setting a standard for the use of the new technology in the anime industry. As the years passed, CGI eventually began to make its way even more in the anime industry. It became a cost-effective and time-effective way to implement pieces like backgrounds or mechanical elements into things while still keeping the primary focus of hand-drawn art styles at the forefront with character design and animation. However, as the years continued, backgrounds were not the only thing that would be animated using CGI. Movies and games had already begun to incorporate this technology more frequently, but regular shows still tended to be hand-drawn when it came to characters. But that would soon come to change. The first use of CGI that I actually noticed in an anime was, surprisingly, Love Live School Idol Project. Love Live did CGI in a way that actually looked pretty damn good. They mainly used it for just the performance scenes, and everything else was kept to the hand-drawn style. Other shows from Sunrise did this as well, with a couple Gundam series and the Bang Dream entire third season. While it was extremely easy to tell when it was used, it wasn't always that bad. I'll admit, I was taken aback when I first saw it, but it grew on me. And throughout the Love Live franchise, it has become a staple in scenes and actually pulls it off extremely well. Another show that took me by surprise with how well the CGI was done was Duke of Death and his maid. So much so that I have a hard time imagining it not being done in CGI. This show, contrary to Love Live, or shows with specific CGI scenes, is done entirely in CGI, and it's done very well. This show was done by JC staff, and looking at their repertoire, your first thought doesn't jump to CGI when you think of them. Responsible for creating some of the most popular animes, this studio is no underdog. They really did do a good job with Duke of Death and his maid. Now, while I realize that I may have a more open opinion to CGI in anime, I realize that there are others who do not, and I understand. But to me, this show and a lot of other shows do a great job of portraying CGI in a very positive light. Now, these are just some examples of good shows that do CGI right. There are tons of animes that have not done CGI just as good as these other ones. Several animes have encountered backlash from audiences due to their utilization of CGI animation, often resulting in disappointment and criticism. One of the most notable instances being Berserk 2016. It received widespread disapproval for its use of CGI, which clashed with the dark and gritty aesthetic of the original manga, and to be frank, it just didn't look good. Similarly, Initial D Legend 2014 to 2016 faced criticism for its clunky CGI racing scenes, failing to capture the dynamic energy of the original series that viewers grew to love so much. Another example that is constantly brought up in the CGI debate is Ken Mono Friends. Despite its charming premise and endearing characters, the anime's CGI animation was widely criticized for its low-quality visuals and character movements. Said to be stiff and unnatural, this led to a disconnect with fans and the story. The extreme backlash that these animes have received serves as a reminder of the challenges that anime productions face when using CGI, as even well-conceived narratives can crumble if not executed with technological finesse and artistic integrity. I can think of countless other shows that have not done CGI very well. Think of all the characters you see that are in the background just moving that are almost copy and pasted. Or a specific example I do like to bring up is Shield Hero Season 3. I found that the dragon later on in the show looked very uncanny and unnatural in its movements, and it didn't really add anything to the show particularly, when I think the show was falling behind as a whole in general. While editing this video, an episode to the Misfit of the Demon King Academy aired, and let me just say it caused quite a stir. In the battle with dragons, we see what might be the worst CGI to ever be in an anime. The amount of effort put into this scene and animation appears to be zero. The dragon's movements are extremely uncanny and look just plain bad. This is just more ammunition that people could use to criticize CGI as to why it shouldn't be introduced into anime. I'm personally a fan of CGI when used in an appropriate manner. I still vastly prefer 2D, hand-drawn styles of anime, but I won't argue against a well-done CGI series. Whether we like it or not, CGI in anime is here to stay, and it's only growing as the technology progresses. Animator wages continue to fall, and deadlines grip tighter and tighter. What are your thoughts on CGI? I still remember the first show in all CGI that I watched, and I will admit, I almost dropped it, and that was Bang Dream, the 3rd season. I was so taken aback by going from a full 2D series to full 3D series in one season, I almost couldn't comprehend it. I almost decided to drop the show. But instead, I went in with an open mind and came out with a new perspective on the new medium of animation. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching this video. I thought it'd be a fun topic to bring up the CGI in anime because with every season of new anime, there seems to be more and more shows fully done in CGI. One of which this season being Girls Band Cry. When the show first aired on that first episode, I was a little taken back by the animation of how detailed the CGI actually was with the mouth movements and just the movements in general. They looked very fluid for what it was, but there was something a little off about it, and it made me question CGI as a whole, where it started, where its origins lay, and the path that it took to get to where we are today. So while I don't fear the new rise of CGI animes, I do look at it with a bit of apprehension. Being a fan of 2D anime as opposed to CGI, I would like to see more shows done in 2D, and I would like it to remain that way. But I do go at it with an open mind, and I do hope that there are more CGI shows that can hopefully bridge the gap between bad and good, make us look at it with a different perspective, and maybe appreciate the work that goes into it, as opposed to just being very close-minded about it. So once again, guys, thank you again. This is Skish. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button down below. Leave a like, and let me know your thoughts on CGI anime. What is the first one you watched, and what are your thoughts on it, and how have they changed throughout the years of you watching anime? That'll be it for today, guys. We'll catch you on the next video. We are Skish, and we'll see you later.